So the CBC are now publicly claiming that the edits made to Home Alone 2 wherein they removed Donald Trump's 8-second cameo were in fact done in 2014 when the CBC acquired broadcast rights to the movie.
Where do we go from here?
Viva Frei, Montreal litigator turned YouTuber, and this is Barney the Vlog Dog, who's very heavy. I wait the entire year to get sick over Christmas, but I digress. Where do we go from here, and what does this tell us about the entire situation? First things first, I read a lot of comments in the comments section, and a lot of people are taking this very seriously. My vlog on the subject was sort of tongue-in-cheek. It has been accused of being a flaw of mine, but I tend not to take things very seriously, probably more often than I should. My vlog explaining the CBC apparently deleting Donald Trump's 8-second cameo from this year's broadcast of Home Alone 2 was intended to be a lighthearted learning experience. The internet is what it is, and people tend to feel emboldened to say things over the internet that they wouldn't necessarily say to someone's face in real life. That and the written word doesn't necessarily read in the same tone in which it was written. The written word tends to be read in a much harsher tone than that in which it was written, and that leads to some confusion and some misunderstandings on the interwebs. But I read a lot of the comments, and I felt that I had to address at the very least two specific categories of comments. The first of which is that my vlog on the subject was politically biased, that I'm conservative, etc., etc. I tend to place very little weight in this false dichotomy of political ideologies. I can tell you with certainty that I espouse views that are both liberal and conservative. That being said, my vlog on what the CBC did was never intended to be politically motivated. I would have made the exact same video had they deleted Hillary Clinton's cameo from Murphy Brown.
Hello, I'm here to interview for the secretarial position.
I would have done the exact same video had they deleted Lance Armstrong's cameo from Dodgeball.
Can I get a bottle of water? Aren't you Peter LaFleur?
Lance Armstrong?
Yeah, that's me. No, but I'm a big fan of yours.
When we view things through political blinders, we are always trying to adapt any particular situation to those blinders. I try to take each subject as a standalone subject and address it accordingly. Take it for what it's worth. I know that if anybody's inclined to believe that I'm politically biased, what I just said will have no impact on them whatsoever. But I do my best to be value added to this world in which we live through insight and humor, and I will continue to do my best to do so. The other category of comments I saw was to the effect that the CBC came out and confirmed that they made these edits to the movie in 2014 when they acquired the broadcast rights to it. Consequently, to the extent that the CBC made these edits before Donald Trump announced he was running for president and before he became president, there could be nothing politically motivated in the edit. On its face, it is in fact a good point and one that cannot be ignored. One cannot cherry pick information that supports their narrative while ignoring the information that doesn't. Some people might say that it was relatively clear from Donald Trump's tweets in 2014 that he was in fact going to run for president, but that would sort of be a moving target of an argument. If the CBC did in fact remove Donald Trump's cameo in 2014, it would certainly undermine the hoopla. When I made my vlog on the subject, the only news out there was that these edits were made in 2015. And this information came from bloggers and internet sleuths who were trying to argue that this is much ado about nothing. It was only about 17 hours later that the CBC itself came out and confirmed ostensibly that the edits were made in 2014 when they acquired broadcasting rights to the movie. And like I say, this is when being a lawyer is both a blessing and a curse. When I read the CBC's statement, I read it as a lawyer. And I think it would be a fun exercise to read through the statements as a lawyer would read through a statement in a file. Now, we are admittedly making a federal case out of nothing, but that is part of the fun of this entire situation. It really isn't all that serious, but it is fun to learn from it. So the CBC has apparently confirmed that they made the edits in 2014, or did they? The first thing I noticed is that it is only the CBC who is alleging that the edits were made in 2014. This is like one of those situations where the CBC has investigated themselves and concluded that there was no wrongdoing. But wording is important, and it is very peculiar how the CBC has worded their statement. Let's read. Why was Trump cut out of CBC's Home Alone 2 broadcast? Donald Trump blames Justin Trudeau after some reacted angrily when they found out CBC TV's broadcast of Home Alone 2 was missing a scene with him in it. When CBC acquired broadcast rights to Home Alone 2 in 2014, several edits were made to adapt the movie for television, and the Trump cameo was among several cut for time. If this were in fact a serious lawsuit, I would ask for evidence that the version of the movie that CBC aired in 2014 in fact had that scene removed from it. So what we have here is a self-serving statement with no evidence to support it. But there's even more to how the statement itself is drafted. When CBC acquired broadcast rights to Home Alone 2 in 2014, several edits were made to adapt the movie for television, and the Trump cameo was among several cut for time. That statement, as drafted, only specifies that the CBC acquired broadcast rights in 2014. It doesn't actually specify when the cameo was deleted out of the movie. Given the banality of the subject matter, I think a lot of people might suggest that this is wordsmithing for the sake sake of wordsmithing. But there is a reason why people don't trust lawyers, and it's specifically because of drafting like this. This statement says that they acquired the rights in 2014, several edits were made for time, including the Trump cameo, but it doesn't say when the Trump cameo was cut. And let's read from another article from the CBC to see how it is drafted. CBC edit of Trump scene from Home Alone 2 was done in 2014. A scene featuring Donald Trump was one of several cut from CBC TV's broadcast of the movie Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. A total of 8 minutes was cut from the film in 2014 to make way for commercials, the network said Thursday. And again, it is ambiguously worded. A total of 8 minutes was cut in 2014 without specifying that the Donald Trump 8-second cameo was part of that 8 minutes. In any event, this really is a tempest in a teapot. If this entire situation shows us nothing else, it is that in a hyper-political world, everything can be interpreted politically. Some would probably argue that even if the cameo was in fact deleted in 2014, they probably should have added it back for subsequent re-airings, if only to avoid a misunderstanding, especially given the CBC's standing in Canadian media and politics. Alright, and with that, I'm going to make myself some tea, try and relax a little bit if I'm capable of doing that, but now you know how you have to read things critically in order to make sure that the wool is not being pulled over your eyes. And now you may have a better understanding of the practice of law, where we are literally dealing with this kind of verbal trickery day in and day out. The ability to produce a misleading statement that is not itself factually incorrect is an art of the lawyer, and that is why people don't like lawyers. And if you like my videos and content, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop a comment in the comment section below. You know what to do. Share the channel, it helps. And now you know your vlog. Peace out. Booyah.